Hello, everyone. I'm Don Ghost, the worst movie reviewer, and today we're going to be talking about Power Rangers. Five strangers unite in order to save the world. While they're on their quest to discover their abilities, they also learn some things about each other. The opening to this movie definitely took inspiration from the Power Rangers short film. It was dark, it was gritty, and it could have made the entire movie like that, but I still ended up enjoying what I got. Actually, now that I think about it, I would have preferred the opening be the entire movie, and the rest of the stuff could have just been incinerated, in my opinion. I enjoyed this movie for the most part. It was interesting to learn about each of the characters. There are moments in the movie where you think that they're going to explain something about one character, but as it progresses, it gives you pieces of information bit by bit. The character building present here gives you enough info on everybody, but it's just your basic stuff. This guy's a jock with a good heart. This guy's a brainy nerd who has no friends. This girl's the popular cheerleader, but she wants to be a rebel, so she cuts her hair. This guy's just some creepy dude who eavesdrops on everybody and he doesn't want to go to school. This girl's a new kid on the block and she's rebellious because she doesn't want to conform or something like that. We learn brief things about Zordon and Rita Repulsa, but there's nothing more to it than he's good, she's bad. There are shades of info that explain their rivalry. It's easy to understand, but it's just all skin and bones with no real heart. Rita Repulsa's your standard villain, like, she just wants to destroy the world, and that's it. All of her scenes come off as creepy, but the longer they go on, they just end up seeming kind of silly. It takes a very long time for the movie to start the Power Rangers action. I understand that they're learning their powers, they're trying to be friends, and they're learning something about each other. But by the time we get to the action, it feels kind of rushed. It almost reminded me of Captain America the First Avenger. You know, with this and that, it's like they show this whole origin story. And then by the time we get to what we came to see, the movie rushes through it. And in this case, the finale is, it's exciting, but it just comes off kind of silly to me. This is the one problem I have with the movie. Besides the opening, it was great. All the origin stuff with the teens, it was basic, but it was satisfying enough. However, I felt like once they kicked into the Power Rangers action, it didn't mesh well with the rest of the movie. And so like everything leading up to the finale was good. Was it basic? Yes. But I was fine with that. So like by the time they got into their suits, that's when everything for me turned into the 90s TV show. I don't mind them bringing nostalgia into this, but what they did here felt a little off to me. It's like half serious, half 90s cheese. And I love the original TV show, but if you're going to keep things serious, keep it serious with no cheese, or just make it extremely cheesy and throw all the serious stuff out the window. You must pick a side. But I still had fun with the fighting, the Zords, and all that jazz. Even though it feels a little off to me, I still enjoyed it. RJ Cyler stands out the most here. If you saw Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, then you know that this guy is a pretty versatile actor. In that movie, his feelings were rather stony and mellow, but he had a good heart. And in this movie, he's the brainy nerd that everybody picks on. If you like RJ Cyler's performance in Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, then you'll certainly like his performance in here just as much. Dacre Montgomery is the main character here, and he's the one we get more information about. He's this jock in this small town who's got a chip on his shoulder, but the movie doesn't really explain why. He just does things and gets into trouble because he likes it, I guess. The actor gave a good performance with what he had to work with, though. Naomi Scott plays Kimberly. She's the popular girl, but she wants to rebel. We don't learn much about her character except that she has some secret that she tries to hide. Ludi Lin, I think his name is, he plays Zach. He doesn't do much here. I thought it was weird how his character just popped into the story. At first it seemed like they weren't going to explain anything about him, but the movie feeds you layers of character as it moves along, and I must admit, Some of his character moments, they did make me tear up a little bit. Just a little bit. Becky G plays Trina, and we know absolutely nothing about her except that she's a rebel. There's one scene where she mentions that she's the new kid at school. We also see that she has some minor troubles at home, and that's it. Now on to Elizabeth Banks. Elizabeth Banks plays Rita Repulsa, and her scenes start off good, but the longer they go on, the sillier they become. Every scene that Elizabeth Banks is in reminded me of Jared Leto's Joker from Suicide Squad. Like, it's not her fault. It's the director's when you really think about it, because all her scenes started off good, scary. She gave a good performance with what she was doing, what she had to work with, But the problem is like every single scene that has her in it, there are all these edits and cuts to make her character seem more intimidating. And to me, it just like ruins Elizabeth Banks's performance, which it seemed like she was handling everything well on her own until these cuts were put into the movie. Dean Israelite, the guy who directed Project Almanac, brings his signature grim and dark form of lighting to this movie. There's one particular shot that caught my attention. If you've seen the Let Me In movie's car scene, then you know what I'm talking about. Other than that, the directing in this thing, it's nothing special. Friendship is real when your friends are real. And I don't mean imaginary or anything like that. I mean real friends who love one another. If you have a real friend, then you must know every little secret about each other. If you don't know anything about each other, then you're not really friends. The power of real friendship comes from within. It's not material, it's not physical, it's in your heart. And real love comes from your heart. It's a team effort, and if one of your teammates aren't pulling their weight, then the whole team goes down. You must stand together and fight, because real, genuine friendship will last forever. I enjoyed this movie for the most part. It was fun and the characters had layers to them, even though I thought the execution was simple. I liked most of the interactions they had with one another. There were a few cheesy moments sprinkled here and there, but Israelite managed to keep things serious while bringing in exciting action and a pretty interesting villain. However, this movie's faults lie within how they treated their villain. Israelite completely pulled a Suicide Squad on Elizabeth Banks' character. All of her scenes to me were scary and intimidating, but the editing of her scenes were so bad that they were almost cringeworthy. Some of the more serious moments don't mesh well with the more cheesy scenes, like when we see the Power Rangers action for the first time, after a very long time I may add. But Israelite managed to keep things fun and exciting, even though what I was watching on screen seemed a little off to me. I don't know why, I just can't explain it. So, overall, I'm going to give Power Rangers a B+, because it did everything that it needed to do, and I wouldn't mind watching the sequel, as long as we get more Power Rangers action. The only things that I would have changed here are they could have added on a bit more character development, and they should have trimmed a couple of things down, like Rita Repulsa's editing scenes. But in the end, I liked it, and I still had fun with it. So, as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.